Welcome to a new daily top Askreddit video. Today's topic: how does someone politely end a conversation with a person who won't stop talking? If they keep talking over polite cues, I have found there really isn't a polite way to exit the conversation. I had a co-worker years ago that you literally just have to turn around and walk away. He wouldn't stop talking even if you said stuff like, "I have a meeting I'm supposed to be on, gotta go." He would just start talking again like he didn't even hear you. You literally just had to turn around and walk away while he was still talking. Sometimes as you'd walk away, he'd raise his voice and just yell to you across the room. It was fucking bizarre. I had a friend just like that. He was talking to me while I sat in my car one time. I started just easing off and he kind of moved along with my car until I ended up running over his foot. Then I had to stop and listen to him go on and on about having his foot run over. Well, finally I don't feel alone, my dad is like that too. I learned to just walk away when I was 12 and he would follow me. One time I did it, I left the house to go to school and he still kept talking through the window when I was half a street away. He has followed me to the bathroom and keep talking from the other side of the door. I try to wait for him to finish an idea before he jumps to the next one to leave, but even that is hard because he takes so long to reach the point. One time we did a family trip, it lasted 2 days, I heard him talk for hours without anyone else making a sound. When we stopped that night after the first day, I asked my mom, she was the driver, if she wanted anything to eat and she said, "I just wanna be away from your dad," in the most exhausted voice I've heard. My friend has Asperger's and I actually asked him about how he knows a conversation is too long and we discussed how he can't recognize subtle social cues. So I started practicing with him. I'll literally put my hand up in a stop motion in front of him and say, "Can I stop you here?" or "Sorry, I have to stop you there," and once he pauses I say my excuse and tell him that we'll talk more later. Gosh, you're such a good friend to take the time and effort to help your friend out this way. As somebody who can't tell when I've talked too long, I am very open with most of my friends that I will try, but if it is ever time for me to stop talking, just tell me and I won't be offended. Friends like you who are willing to do that are the best. Say "Wheeler eins up," slap your knee and stand up to leave. Then you stand at the front door for several hours talking some more. The Midwest farewell, sometimes known as the fairy whelp. When they draw a breath, politely say, "On that note, I must be on my way." Then, simply leave. Hello. On that note, I must be on my way. Oblivion NPCs be like, "Sorry, I have to return some videotapes. The record I left on for the dog is about to end. I cut my foot earlier and my shoe is filling up with blood. Now let's see Paul Allen's excuse. Look at it, the cunning mischievousness of it. Oh my god, it even has a little wordplay in it. In Flanders we have a word for it. Bon, and then you say something, "I have work to do, it's time to go home, it's time to get drinks." And people realize the other person wants to leave without being mean. In the UK, our method is to slap our thighs and say "right." Sadly, this usually leads to the next hour of increasing levels of trying to leave. We do the same in Minnesota except it's "Welp. Suppose I should head out then." Proceed to talk in the driveway for 30 minutes. In Spanish we say, "Bueno." There are several different ways to say the word that can mean something different in my culture. A quick, curt "bueno" and standing up or making a move means "I gotta go." A more drawn out "bo" means "I gotta go, but I'll say a few goodbyes first," and you end up talking for a bit longer. A resigned, drawn out "bo" can mean "okay, I'll stay for just a few more minutes." An annoyed and firm "bueno" means you need the other person to stop right in their tracks or you disagree with what they are saying and you're leaving. There are more ways to use the word, too. Lol. In Bavaria we go with "Bastsko." Not briefly stand up and go. The other person remains completely confused because "Bastsko" can mean literally everything in Bavarian. Where is Flanders? Am I a bad person because I thought for a moment that it was some Simpsons reference to how that character talks and the word was going to be something like "doodly"? It's the northern region of Belgium. Find a hedge and slowly disappear into it. Neighbor across the street is just the sweetest guy but quite a talker. And has serious ADHD and is mostly deaf and some eyesight issues, so he will randomly start talking about another topic, then jump to another, and won't hear /C when you try to squeeze in an excuse to leave. I sometimes look out the window when he's talking to joggers or someone just asking about his lawn, car, weather, etc. They start nodding politely, stay there a few minutes, start making motions like pointing showing they have to leave, etc. Shuffling backwards. Several times I have seen people literally back into his hedge. Neighbor helps them out, of course. I think the poor guy realizes what he's done at that point, but he can't stop talking. And then he notices a rip in their shirt or something with their hair and starts talking about where he gets his shirt or does his hair or something else. I need a hedge at work. My boss is a rambler / talker. Facilities would surely support the installation of a tactical business hedge, yes. With some people it's impossible. I worked with a guy who wouldn't stop talking, long boring stories with no point and no end. I was doing a course through distance learning at the time, so any downtime was spent studying. I politely asked him to be quiet, and explained the importance of the assignment I was working on. He agreed not to talk but then sat there humming. This lasted about 10 minutes until he couldn't bear it anymore and started yabbering on again with his incessant nonsense. I worked with a dude at work who needed to talk. I just talked to him to be polite and not awkward. And I remember him saying, "At least you're not one of those people who are silent all day." In my head I'm like, fuck, I wish I could be silent all day, but now that you said that it would be even more awkward. At some point I just mentally said fuck it and started giving him one-word replies. I think he got the hint because he started talking to me less. Eventually he quit after a couple months, so it's all good. But some people just need to talk for whatever reason. I need my freaking silence. I knew someone once who would keep talking for hours after everyone else had gone quiet. She ended a whole party once by loudly monologuing over everyone without pause for so long that you could just see people start slumping in their chairs and their eyes going dead. Then one person said, "Well, I ought to get going," and stood up, and it made everyone else realize they could do the same thing. She went to the hall to keep talking at everyone while they put on their coats and shoes too. Didn't even make her change the topic, nor leave, not her party and not her apartment. Colin Robinson, I presume. One of the best ways to drain people's energy is via the internet. Wait. What time is it? It's X. Fuck. The proceed to robot dance away until out of view. Reminds me of New Girl, where Nick Miller would panic moonwalk away from situations. Are you moonwalking? You can't just moonwalk away from this. Hey. Nick Miller, stone cold killer. Born on the streets of Chicago. Oh my gosh, I have already taken up so much of your time, I am so sorry. I'm even running late myself. Pee-wee, let me go. Yeah, number. I've had too many people take that as a challenge. You think you're taking up my time? Not at all. You can take even more of my time. All of it. Let's start a new discussion right now. However, let you go consistently performs well. Southerners sure do know how to create an elegant but firm fuck you, I'm out. Southerner checking in. This is a standard get off the phone sentence. Alright, well doll, let you go. I seriously need to learn how to do this. I'm too polite and like a magnet for these types who just want a warm body to talk at. Can barely get a word in edgewise, and when I do it's like they don't even hear me. I learned a trick. Most excessive talkers hate listening. So I simply participate and tell my own stories. After 1 or 2 stories they are usually ready to leave themselves to seek their next victim. I tried that with one old neighbor, but he'd cut me off and we'd be talking at the same time louder and louder, both refusing to give in. Ridiculous. I have a co-worker who is like this. She will talk about the same topic every time I see her. If I ever try to input stuff about myself, she completely ignores it and changes the topic back to herself. It's fascinating seeing how starved my girl is to talk about the same thing multiple days in a row. As a teacher, I have learned how to interrupt people who do not leave any pauses when they are speaking, start nodding and verbally agreeing with them. You can't interrupt these people, but you can start agreeing while they speak, then raise your voice and say, "Yeah, wow, excuse me but I must go. You know, I just think Hitler wasn't such a bad guy. I think he had some interesting final solutions to the world problems. Yeah, wow, excuse me but I must go." Just start coughing these days, it'll clear a whole room in seconds. Coughing while muttering I'm sorry, excuse me and leaving the room. I have to go. But you live here. I have to move. My go-to is I don't want to cut you short but I really need to get going. Let's connect another time. And that's it. If you can practice this, start to train one of your eyeballs to slowly drift off whilst the other eye remains locked on theirs. That should do the trick. Haha. I can actually do this and I love doing it to friends while we're talking. Always creeps people out. I can do this too. I am worried it will get involuntarily worse with age lol. If you can't do that, just start watching their ear instead of their face. Tilt your head when you do it for added effect.